If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.
Hey, everyone. So if you don't know a lot about us, I'm Melanie Johnson, along with Jen Foster. We're co-owners of Elite Online Publishing, and we've been publishing books coming up excitingly on 10 years pretty soon. Excuse me. So anyways, I got a little bit of a cough going on there still from COVID. But so, yes, we've published over 3,000 books. We have made all of our authors #1 bestsellers. We're known for our marketing campaigns and our concierge service. So if you're here today, you're here because you want to learn about getting your book published in 2025. So if you've been thinking about that, it's been on your wish list, now is the time to get started. If 2025 is your year. But you know what? So many people have, I don't know how to get started. I don't know where to begin. It's been on my bucket list, but I don't know if I'm not motivated to do it. So hopefully we can go over some of those things for you today and really get that started and get that momentum starting. So I know we didn't want to make this super long. So I'm going to jump in and get going. So we do a thing called a VIP book creation day. So I'm going to walk you through some of that process that we do during that day to kind of give you a kickstart and get ready to get going. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Can everyone see that okay? Yay. All right.
Yes, we're
So
good.
the first thing we do when we do VIP day is we say, identify your purpose and your audience. And we really dig deep on this. So let's say we're writing a book about how to write your book and become a bestseller. Great example, because we're all here for that anyways. So the first thing you want to do is say, who is my ideal reader? And we really hone this down. It's not just, someone, age 30 to 75 and, could be a man, could be a woman, someone who wants to write a book. That's too broad. So we really want you, and what we would do, like for our audience, we'd say, okay, we're going to pick someone that we think would be an ideal customer. We might say a man, might say a woman, but let's just say a woman, since seems like most of us are women here on this meeting today. So let's say it's a woman. Let's say she's 50 years old. Let's say she's a successful businesswoman, that she has had a really robust career, been in the C-suite. She's become a speaker now and wants to have a transition. And what is the next act for them? And let's say she really wants to tell her story. So that's our person. We're going to say she lives in the Midwest. Okay. So we're going to say she lives in the Midwest. She's 50 years old. She's had a great career. She's made really good money for herself. She knows a lot of things, has a lot of wisdom, and lived a full life. She's an action taker. She knows what she wants. She makes decisions fast. So that's our ideal person, right? And then we want to have what is their needs and their pain points. So the pain points are they're struggling with deciding on what to write their book about. So for our book that we're hypothetically writing of how to become an author and write your book and be a best-selling author, their pain points might be that they don't know where to start, that they've had this idea for a long time, but they don't know if they should write about their life. They should write about their expertise. What part of their expertise should they write about? What should they use this book for to brand them moving forward and coming up with that? So that's their struggle in our line. So think about what your audience struggles with, what their needs are. And then you want to align your story with their needs and their challenges. So the next phase is crafting your core message, right? Identify the main takeaways you want your reader to remember. So we ask the question is, when your author reads your book and closes the book, what do you want them to say about your book? What is the message that they're going to get out of it and walk away? What are they going to be empowered to do once they read your book? What is the action you want them to take, or actions? With us, it would be, we want them to start writing their book to become a bestseller and to open that and get their dreams come true. We want them to start writing and become a client. The other thing is, what would they tell their friends? Word of mouth. what readers will tell other people about your book. Oh my gosh, I just read this book. I'm so excited. I want to write my own book now. I know I can be a bestseller and I know how that it's going to improve my business. So ask yourself those questions. What is the core idea? What's the action you want your reader to take? And what you want other readers to say to what you want your reader to say to other people about your book, right? So that's helping you formulate what you want to say and what you want to do. Okay, now we're getting to the structure, the outline part. All right, AI kind of comes into this. We're going to say that's a cheater thing, but it's a great cheat. I don't even know if I call it a cheat. I just think it's a helper, a great helper. So when you put your person's challenges in, so like us, we'd say, we want to write a book about how to write your book and become a bestseller. This is who our audience is, right? We've developed who our one person is. She's a woman. We're going to name her. Let's name her Sue. Her name is Susan. She's writing a book. She's 50 years old. These are the problems she's had. This is the career she's had. You can put this all into AI. These are the solutions that I have. Come up with some titles of chapters that would be great for a book about this. And AI will spit out all kinds of things for you. So you can say, give me 10 chapters. And then if you don't like that, you can go back and ask ChatGPT to make you more list of chapters. And it's a great way to brainstorm your chapter ideas if you're just sitting there with that blank page. Versus 2 years ago, we didn't have these tools. Now you have these great tools that you can go in and to help you kick your butt to get your book started, right? So then once you have these chapters, you're going to brainstorm with ChatGPT on your own, maybe ask even friends that you have that have these problems that you're writing to. Like we do surveys where we ask our authors, what are they struggling with? What do they need help with? And in our case, a lot of times it's book marketing they need help with, right? So now we offer a bunch of different marketing services for our authors because we know that's where they need help. So it's great to ask your core group of people, what do they need help with? Then organize them. So, like in our book, if we're writing about becoming a bestseller, we may have tips on writing and then tips on publishing and then tips on marketing your book. So, we'd organize them based on that, right? How to become a bestseller would be one group of chapters together, coming up with your ideas and writing. The best way to write would be another core group of ideas. So, organize those points and review and find them. Okay. So, we talked about AI, right? To leverage for your first chapters and ideas. Then again, you can also use AI to get some of the content out if you want. But that's just going to be kind of the nuts and bolts. Again, AI does not know what you know. So you're really going to need to explore and develop your content. Make sure you have stories in there that illustrate the point. Talk about your personal experience. And that's where this gets in. I always tell people to do the money book first, which really is your experience and what's going to brand you to go forward. Donna Peters wrote a book about leadership and how to have clarity. And that's what she decided she wanted to be known for. Stephanie Chung talks about sales all the time and leadership and a variety of different things. So we really honed her idea down during VIP Book Creation Day to decide that she was going to write about allied leadership, how to serve people from all different walks of life to lead them. So now that is one of her branding things that she's talking about and creating a whole speech on it. So you have to decide, what do I want to be talking about for the next chapter of my life, that I'm putting my flag in the sand that I want to be known for. All right. So you can ask AI for some of these things. You can ask for what they struggle with, but really you want to make sure you layer it in with your stories and what you know and your expertise, because that's why you're writing a book in the first place, is because only you know exactly what you know. And some people may say, oh my gosh, Melanie, everybody knows about, this, that, or the other. Or they know about real estate, or they know, I can say, well, a lot of people know how to write a book. But you know what? They don't know exactly what I know and what our journey is and what the expertise Jen and I have. We've been doing this for 10 years and we've made everybody a bestseller. I bring to the table that I own 2 TV stations and was a network producer. I produced TV shows for our network. I was a news anchor. I developed homes. I marketed my mansion when Airbnb didn't even exist as a rental. So, and Jen has developed websites. She's run retail kiosk chains. So we bring a whole different layer of expertise in that somebody else may not bring in. And that's what you bring in for your book as well. So another great way you're like, okay, now we're to the crux of it. How do I create my writing schedule, right? What should I do? So it's really can be, to me, the big word is discipline. It's all about discipline. You have to have either you can do it daily. Some people like to wake up early and do it. Some people like to write at night. If you have kids and kids are running around and it's crazy, early morning or when they go to bed is better. Or you may just have a specific time that you carve out to do it, that your brain is working at high level. The idea factory, I call it, is going and you can just jam out different ideas. You can go to book writing retreats. That's how Jen and I first started. We started doing a book writing retreat and we launched a couple best-selling books from that. The other great way that I always like is VIP book creation day because that's what we do. We work one-on-one with you. You come in for a day, you work with myself and Anita Henderson. And during that day, it's so incredible. It's like getting business coaching, book coaching, and you get like a quarter of your book done. So, I mean, we get anywhere from 5 to 10,000 words written that day, but your whole book is outlined. You get all the chapters, and the content is actually put into the chapters. And then you get a whole transcript of the day, you get a whole video of the day, and you really feel like you've got momentum. So I highly recommend that if you're looking to get a great kickstart and you value time over money. It's not that VIP day is expensive, but you know what? If you are like, I just don't want to know where to start, you've been spinning around the same hamster wheel for years, VIP day will get you kickstarted. You'll have tons of momentum. You'll be really motivated. You'll actually see the rough draft of your book done. You'll be like, oh my gosh, look at all these chapters and all this content in here with notes that tells me what else I need to write in there. So I just think it's a great way. We only have a couple days left for this year that are available to do it. And then we just opened up 2025 to do a VIP day. So if you're interested, don't hesitate and make sure that you contact us for that. All right. So some other ways, if you're like, okay, Melanie, I'm not sure if VIP day is the way for me. What are some other ways I can get started? So we use Otter as a great tool. If you just want to talk into Otter, if you're more of a talker than a writer, Otter transcribes it in real time. So you have a written document and you have the audio as well. Then you can even copy and paste that and put it into ChatGPT and say, please help organize this into the book, into the chapters that I want, right? So those types of things. I also like Chat Hub is really cool because Chat Hub has 6 different platforms that you get different responses from. So write that down, Chat Hub, if you haven't done that before. So both of those are my kind of secret tools that I have in there. Another way too is you could have a friend interview you. If you have those chapter headings and like the top questions, we call it the 10 by 10. So there may be questions that you get asked all the time that you could have someone interview you and record it. So you could record it on video like you're talking, have Otter running in the background, and have it transcribed. So another couple great tips to get your book done. Okay, so embrace the first draft mindset. So a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, this first draft, it's horrible. And that's what they're afraid of, that it's going to be bad. But your first draft should be kind of meh. It shouldn't be great. You want to just take that first draft, get all the ideas down, get everything out. Now you've got something to work with. And that's what I love about our VIP book creation day is you're getting all that content out. It's like you're throwing up all at once and we're here to organize it for you. You don't have to do any of the work at all. We do everything. So it's like you just dumped your head out into a page and we've taken it all. It's like, just imagine, I would say, like, if you have to clean out your closet, right? It's like we've taken everything out of your closet and we picked out the best things and we put everything back in and it's all color coded and organized and your underwear is folded in these beautiful little rows and your socks are all folded and your long sleeve and short sleeve and your pants, everything are done by color. That's what we kind of do on VIP day. Okay. So when you're doing your first draft, overcome that perfectionism. Don't keep going and trying to edit while you write. Biggest mistake. Anita Henderson, our person that I do VIP day with, she's like, please do not edit while you are writing. Just keep writing, move forward, get it all out, and then you can go back. Now, I do suggest you work with a book coach or an editor or a co-writer or a ghostwriter. Don't try and edit it yourself. Otherwise, you're just going to be overwhelmed. But once you get all of this done out onto a piece of paper, I want you to celebrate yourself. Even if you get, you've done 2 days of writing that week and that's all you got, you need to celebrate and move forward and say, hey, I did a great job. I'm moving forward. So what we have in our arsenal is we have a book coach. So if you need someone to keep your feet to the fire, not only does she keep your feet to the fire, once you have that messy first draft, you send it off to our book coach and then they go through it. They do a rough edit. They give you suggestions. They maybe move stuff around for you. Then the co-writer, which I really like, is kind of combination between a ghostwriter and a book coach. So they give you all the coaching and all of that going on. You're still going to give them that dirty first draft, but then they are going to go in and actually kind of rewrite some of it. They're going to do a deep dive content edit and writing with you, right? Where you're still writing and making sure it sounds like you. Then the ghostwriter is where you just have interviews with the ghostwriter. You have, I don't know, could be anywhere from 6 to 10 interviews with somebody, including the VIP day if you do it with the VIP day. And then they write the rest of the book. And then you go back and read the draft and approve what they've written or edit and cross out what they want. So I highly recommend you do one of these three things, especially if you're like our ideal customer, you're busy, you're running a company, you're running a business, you're a CEO, you've got a lot of things to do. It's hard to stop and write a book. So we try and make it as least time consuming as possible. But the most important thing is that you're going to write a high quality book that really represents you, who you are, and this book works for you and your business. That's the most important thing when you're working with us. We want to make sure your book is working for you and your purpose and your business. Because if it's not worth writing, right? So get out of the confusion and make sure you get some clarity. So we talked about being interviewed or doing interviews. You can do that to get content. Another important thing that we do is doing beta readers. So beta readers is where once you've got your final draft, you're giving it out to people that they want to be they would be your ideal reader. So you're giving it to people that it's like a test audience, right? When they do, I'm from the TV business. So remember when they would create TV shows, they still do this, but I don't know if you know this. And then they do test audiences. They grab people off the street and they have them watch a show and give them comments if they like it. And then if they don't like it at all, then the like 20th Century Fox are like, "Nope, we're not moving forward with this." So it's kind of doing that. But you're going to have specific questions and you just want things that are, simple, just to give an overview if they like the book, the characters, you gave enough information, right? So we do this when we have beta readers. We have a worksheet that the beta reader fills out so you know exactly what they're supposed to ask, what you're supposed to ask, and what they're supposed to answer. So I love the beta readers program. That comes with our VIP day. That comes with our coaching and also with the ghostwriting and co-writing as well. So we encourage you, if you would like to work with us, this is kind of an overview of some of the things that we do. So we take you from concept development. And then when you're working on your book, we also do the cover design, we do publishing services, distribution. We make sure your manuscript is defined and refined and really great when you're working with our book coach or book editor. We do all the interior formatting. And the most important part is the marketing strategy, which Jen and I have worked with, and our team, our fabulous team. We have an incredible team of people that work with us from top to bottom. So when you work with our team, you're going to love them because they're just amazing. And so it's that you market your book and you have that strategy to be a number one bestseller. We've even worked with traditional publishing houses that their authors have come to us that they haven't become a bestseller and didn't have a marketing plan. So we create a marketing plan for you to really skyrocket your book and do a bestseller campaign. So that's what we do. And let me see, does anybody else have any questions? I went over a lot of stuff really fast, so I don't know if there's any questions that anyone has. So the VIP day lasts a full day. It's about 6 hours. It's pretty intense if you're interested in doing that. And how many of you are thinking about getting a book written? You're here because you're interested in writing and publishing. Have any of you started writing a book yet? You can type in yes or no in the chat.
And Karen has a question. With AI, do I have to disclose that I use AI to write my book?
Yes, that's a great question. And the answer is yes. When you upload your book or we upload your book to Amazon, they are now asking, did AI help you do any or all of your book? They're asking, I think there's like 3 or 4 questions they're asking about that now. So, yep. And the funny thing about that is, it's like we just don't know. It's like you're disclosing it, right? You're trying to be honest. Yeah, it helped me a little bit. And they're like, okay, fine. But with Amazon, you just don't know. Like they may come down a year from now and say, if you said your book was all written by AI, we're taking it down. You just don't know. Jen and I have had books taken down just arbitrarily. We've had some authors that their book was up and they just go, oh, we think your author is not the author who he says he is. And they took the book down. I mean, it's just crazy what Amazon can do. I mean, all of these platforms, so don't get me started, but all of these platforms, uh, they control the world. It's their world. They control it. You're just a visitor on there. And if for whatever reason they decide they don't want you in their world anymore, they just take you down and you don't a lot of times have any recourse. I've had Instagrams just arbitrarily get taken down and banned. You're like, what? Hello? So you might be, and there's countless people that are making revenue and all of a sudden they're not making revenue. So that's why we distribute in other places besides Amazon. You should always distribute, not just in Amazon. You should be globally distributed everywhere else our books are sold. Matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a quick story. If someone else comes with another question, um, trying to think who I was listening to. It was leadership guy, motivational guy, someone, and he was saying, please don't buy my book from Amazon. He said, it's on Amazon. He said, but buy it from Barnes and Noble. Please buy it from Barnes and Noble. Apparently he cut some kind of special deal with Barnes and Noble. And I remember what the deal was. The deal was the more books he sold with Barnes and Noble, he had to hit certain thresholds. When he hit those thresholds, then they would put him in more bookstores.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? So it's like, hey, if you push books to us, then we'll put you in more bookstores, even though there aren't that many bookstores anymore. But interesting, huh?
Yeah. There is another question in the chat. It's if I want my book out for the holidays, when do I have to start the publishing process?
Now, yesterday, a month ago, immediately, tomorrow, I would say, because you want to have a big enough time frame where you really make sure you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's. So that's what we do here. We want to make sure that we've done the research for all the categories, all of the keywords, the book description is beautiful, making sure all of those details behind the scenes are done correctly. Plus, I imagine your book isn't formatted yet. So it takes time to make sure your book is formatted and it's beautiful when it's done. Then you're going to get your proof. Sometimes your proof doesn't come right away, especially we're getting into the holidays. The mail might not come right away. Amazon might be backlogged or Ingram to get your proof in. And then the proof might not be right. Like I see things I didn't see before. So sometimes we go back and forth with the proof 2 and 3 times. So you're going through that whole process of getting the proof remailed to you, making changes. So, and then on the other side of it, that's the mechanical publishing side. But then on the other side of it, you have the marketing. All right, let's get all the marketing set up. Let's get the email campaign set up. What do you have already working for you on your end? I think I want to clear up one thing too that I think we've run into where we do a great job marketing your book to our list, right? And to our social media. But we want you to engage your audience, your social media, even if you have a small amount or you're just starting out and we set it up for you and you're at zero. The idea behind that is if you were having a baby and you didn't tell anyone, or your daughter was getting married, but you didn't tell anyone. And then your friends would say, I can't believe you didn't tell me your daughter got married. I mean, they'd be really upset. And so you need to tell the people that support you, friends, family, colleagues, business associates, that you're writing this book. They want to support you. I get excited when my friends are doing something fabulous, right? And then you want them to share it to their friends to make your group even bigger and support you and have a bigger mailing list. And just, it's like gathering a crowd, right? That's why you're doing this, is to share the message of your book and to grow your business.
What I have one. What if I want my book to be ready in January to be published? Is that a possibility, or how long does it take to get it done if I haven't even started writing it?
Oh, if you haven't started writing it, you're going to need more time than that if you haven't started writing it yet, right? So even when we work with authors, like let's say we do a VIP day. So that gives you that head start. And then from there, you're going to start working with the book coach or co-writer or ghostwriter. So while that's happening, then we will start the publishing process part. We're going to gather your bio, your headshots, a lot of information, a lot of data. We're going to understand what the book is about, maybe start doing research already, getting what you need together to start marketing the book. If you need a CRM, understanding your business so we can really align this and strategize. So I always say it's like building a house and ordering the furniture at the same time. So I have a friend right now, he's remodeling his house and it's going pretty fast, but they hadn't even talked to the decorator. Like they just saw the decorator today and the painting's almost done, but I have the strong suspicion all the construction's going to be done and he's not going to have any furniture yet because they haven't finalized any of the selections or any of the fabrics. So we really want to work together and do that simultaneously. So when your book is done, we are ready to go into formatting. Everything else is done and we're just running. So then you don't waste time. Again, we're about maximizing efficiency and your time. I mean, if your book comes out in 6 months versus coming out a year, think of what you could accomplish in those 6 months. I mean, all the business you could get, all the media attention you could get, all the lives you could change during that time. So we understand time is money and value. So we try and get it done as efficiently as possible. And that's why we like to overlap those two processes.
Any other questions?
I have a question. Melanie, in the very beginning, you mentioned that the type of book that should be written is the money book. Could you explain a little bit more what you mean by writing your money book first?
Absolutely. So why you should write the money book first. If you're deciding to write a memoir or a book about your expertise, I always suggest write about the expertise. And I call that the money book because that book is going to expand your brand. It's going to let people know who you are, that you're an expert in your field, right? And then it's going to create more business, more revenue that you can tell the back end and the dirty side of the story or the other compelling part of the story in a memoir. But what we like to do is still tell part of your life story in the money book. So you're sharing your expertise, but you had a journey to get there. I mean, like with me, my journey was that my expertise came from television stations and I learned a lot about marketing, but I also had the journey of turning into publishing. How did I end up into publishing? Well, part of that is the story of I had a divorce that was very tumultuous and how that got me from here and the lessons I learned from that to get me into the publishing business and what has made this business so successful that we've been around for 10 years. So I have to tell that part of the story mixed in with my expertise, if that makes sense. So you do get a taste of who the person is. You want to know who that person is that you're dealing with them, that you know, like, and trust them by reading their book. But then you also get a sense that they are an expert at the field that they are in and that I'd want to work with this person.
Well, any closing remarks, Melanie, before we wrap up?
Sure. So if you are interested in talking with one of our experts here, myself, Jen, Karen, any of our people on our team, go to the submission button on our website, Elite Online Publishing, and you can fill out that form and then we'll set up a meeting. If you're looking that you want to have your book published in 2025, now, not yesterday, not tomorrow, but now is the time to get going. If you really want to make that a dream, and again, we like working with action takers. We're here to make your dreams come true and make sure that you don't lose sight of that. And we're here to do all the heavy lifting for you. So if you'd like to work with us, just reach out to us and we'll see if we're a good fit.
If you want to write a book and become a best-selling author, you're in the right place. At Elite Online Publishing, we can help you create, publish, and market your book so that it becomes a #1 bestseller. We work with a limited number of authors to ensure that they receive the best possible service. So if you want to learn how to write and publish a book that will empower you to smartly grow your brand, business, and credibility, apply today. We look forward to working with you.